All right, let's dive into a single, incredibly powerful idea that honestly can completely change your financial future. And it all boils down to understanding the simple difference between an asset and a liability.
I mean, have you ever felt this? You work harder, you get a raise, your income goes up, but at the end of the day, you don't really feel any wealthier. It's super frustrating, right? Well, there's a very specific reason for it.
And that's really the heart of the problem. We're all conditioned to focus on the earning part. Get the good job, chase that promotion. But the real secret, the actual game changer for building wealth, it's not about how much you make. It's about what you do with that money after you get it. And that focus on just earning, well, it leads so many of us right into what you could call a common financial trap. It's this cycle that just keeps people running in place no matter how much their salary goes up.
So here's what that trap looks like in real life. The more money we make, the more we tend to collect liabilities. We finance that nicer car, we upgrade to a bigger apartment, we buy all the latest gadgets. And look, each one of these things feels like progress. It feels like we're rewarding ourselves for all that hard work. But in reality, they're often just things that create constant costs and lose value over time.
So the big question is, how do we break out of this cycle? Well, it all starts with a simple, but I mean this, a really profound revelation. We have to get crystal clear on what an asset is and what a liability is.
Okay, so let's break it down. An asset is simply anything you own that puts money into your pocket. Think about investments that pay you dividends, or a rental property that brings in cash every month, or maybe a business that generates profit. Basically, an asset is your money working for you.
And on the flip side, you've got liabilities. And yeah, it's just as simple. A liability is anything that continuously takes money out of your pocket just to own it. That's your car payment, your credit card debt, even those expensive subscriptions that are just constantly siphoning money away.
And when you see it laid out side by side like this, it is just so clear. An asset puts money in, a liability takes money out. An asset generates value, a liability creates costs. But my favorite line here, the one that really hits home, is that last one. An asset works for you, while you have to work for your liabilities. So the real question becomes, which one are you spending your money on?
You know what? Let's make this even clearer. Let's tell a quick story to show exactly how this simple choice plays out in the real world.
So picture this. We've got two people. They're starting on a totally level playing field. Same job, same city, they get the exact same paycheck. The only thing that's different is how they think about assets and liabilities.
All right, so person A does what most of us are taught to do. They use their income to upgrade their lifestyle. They get a nice new car with a monthly payment, they buy the newest phone, they rent a more expensive apartment, and while their life might look pretty successful on the outside, every single one of those purchases just adds another monthly expense, another anchor taking money out of their pocket.
But then you have person B. They're playing a completely different game. They use their income to buy things that will eventually put money back into their pocket. They're investing in the stock market, maybe starting a little online business, or buying a small property they can rent out. See what's happening? They're systematically building little money-making machines that work for them even when they're not.
Now, let's fast forward 10 years. The result is just staggering. Seriously, look at this. Person A has very little net worth to show for a decade of hard work because all their income went to paying for their liabilities. But person B, their wealth has exploded. Their assets are now generating their own income, and it's created this powerful snowball effect. Same salary at the start, but dramatically different endings.
So this isn't just a nice little story, right? This is a practical, honest-to-goodness roadmap. The big question is, how do you actually become person B?
Well, the path is actually surprisingly simple. First, you have to truly, deeply understand this difference. What puts money in versus what takes it out. Second, you have to make a conscious choice to prioritize using your income to buy assets. Third, be ruthless about minimizing new liabilities. And finally, and this is the best part, you get to the magic stage where you let those assets do the heavy lifting, generating value for you 24/7.
And once this concept really clicks for you, it's like putting on a new pair of glasses. You start to see the entire world of money in a completely different way.
And this right here is probably the most important thing to take away from all of this. Wealth isn't about how big your paycheck is. It's about where you point that paycheck. In the long run, a smaller salary that's pointed towards assets will always beat a huge salary that's just pointed towards liabilities.
And that is what's so empowering. Building wealth stops being this thing that just happens to other people by accident. It becomes a direct result of the choices you make. You are in the driver's seat, making intentional moves based on a clear, powerful principle.
So I'll leave you with this one final thought. The next time you're about to buy something, anything at all, just pause for a second and ask yourself this one simple question. Is this an asset or is it a liability? Your answer will determine everything.